If last night's game taught us anything, it's that it ain't over till it's over. The Red Sox shut out to an early lead, but Toronto was able to chip away with a run here and a run there. Finally, Rod Barajas' home run tied the game in the 6th inning. But a costly error gave Boston a lead they would not relinquish in a game that was not short on runs. Tonight, Roy Halladay takes the mound for the Blue Jays, and you can bet that runs will be at a premium. The paying public got a boatload of them last night. 19 runs combined on 25 hits, 2 errors committed, both by the Blue Jays in a losing effort in game number 1. So tonight, they've got Roy Halladay on the mound as he searches for his 14th win of the year, and he'll do so against the Boston Red Sox. Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jamie Campbell along with Pat Tabler. And if you've lost 3 straight as the Blue Jays have, it helps to have number 32 on the mound.
It must be a good feeling for a manager to know that when you're in a losing streak, you have somebody like Roy Halladay pitching in that game. In his career, Halladay 68 times has stopped a Blue Jay losing streak. They're going to look for more of that here tonight, but he needs some runs to work with. Over his last 10 starts, he has pitched very well. ERA under 3, which is great. The losing record at 3-4 simply because he doesn't have enough runs to work with, just over 3 in his last 10.
Let's hear from Marco Scutero as to why he hasn't received the run support.
I think we've been inconsistent playing as a team. You know, sometimes we hit, sometimes we don't pitch, sometimes we pitch, sometimes we don't hit, and that's the difference between, you know, the first month and a half, first 2 months of the season. We were playing as a team, we were getting clutch hits, we were making the pitches, and that's you know, that's pretty much the difference.
And Pat, if Halladay's looking for some support, he can certainly look to the man hitting behind Marco Scutero most nights.
Aaron Hill's been so consistent all season long, but the month of August, he has really turned it up a notch. In last night's game, when Josh Beckett threw him fastballs up, Hill aggressive enough and powerful enough to drive the ball. A couple of doubles in last night's game. It helps to where he is hitting in the lineup behind Scutero in front of Lynn. He has been aggressive all season long.
And though the Blue Jays lost last night, didn't Travis Snider make an impact? With more on him, we go downstairs to Sam Cosentino.
Jamie, undoubtedly Travis Snider did have an impact in yesterday's game, and when he was recalled in time for that game, Cito Gaston said he would get the chance to play on an everyday basis. That way the Blue Jays can evaluate him as to whether or not he should start in right field in 2010. In his first at-bat since being recalled, bottom of the 3rd inning, pretty good pitch from Beckett as it sails away, but Snider goes with it the other way and drives it out for his 4th home run in the year. Then in the top of the 4th inning, playing defense in right field, getting used to how the ball carries here at the Rogers Center once again. Off the bat of Nick Green, takes a circuitous route. It ends up just off his glove. He said at one point he did lose it for a little while, but this is the type of thing that the Blue Jays are going to want to see Travis Snider do. Play in right field every day, see how he can handle the responsibilities defensively. I think everyone is quite confident that he'll be okay on the offensive end, but now we'll get to see it on an everyday basis.
And Sam, tonight we'll look for a big crowd as Game 2 comes on Rogers Sportsnet. The Blue Jays throw one of the finest pitchers they've ever employed at the Red Sox next. In Toronto, it's cooled off considerably from last night, and we're looking forward to quite a matchup tonight of one of the best pitchers in the game against a young pitcher from the Boston Red Sox who has a very bright future. First, here is Boston's lineup for tonight's game, number 2 of this 3-game series. And David Ortiz, with 5 more home runs, will tie Frank Thomas for the most ever by a designated hitter at 269. He has 5 of them against tonight's starter Roy Halladay. Some additions to the lineup. One, in fact, Casey Kochman is added by Terry Francona. Mike Lowell takes a breather. So the Red Sox tonight, for the second time this season, will face Roy Halladay. And his numbers are brought to you by Ford. This is Ford Today, Drive 1.
Great numbers all the way around for Roy Halladay. He looks for number 14, a typical dominating performance on Friday, holding the Rays to a 1 earned run over 8 innings. That was his second consecutive win. What we love about Halladay is he goes a long way. Major League leading, 21st time in 23 starts that Doc has gone at least 7 innings. The scouting report for Halladay, he's got great movement on all of his pitches. The fastball, the cutter, the curveball, everything. The AL's best at getting ground ball outs, 278 of them. So when he's on, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, and no wilting in August for Halladay. It might be hot, but he keeps strong. At least 8 innings in all 3 of his starts this month. Here's how they'll line up defensively for Halladay. You got to be on your toes when he's on the mound. He works quickly, throws lots of strikes. Travis Snyder in right field gets the call again. Good to see him out there. Encarnacion, Scutero, Hill, and Overbay, third to first on the infield, and the veteran Rob Barajas behind the plate calling pitches tonight.
Roy Halladay has won his last 2, supported by 12 runs. He'll hope for similar support tonight against the Boston Red Sox, a team he dominated on July the 19th, a complete Game 6 hitter. And he starts well here against Jacoby Ellsbury with strike 1.
Second in the American League in earned run average at 2.6. First in complete games. He's tied with Zach Greinke with 5. He is all over the leaderboard numbers-wise in the American League.
Right there with all the men being considered for the Cy Young Award this year in the American League, as he's got a 1-1 count on Ellsbury. This ball grounded right to Overbay. It takes 3 pitches to get the first out, and that's exactly the way Halladay likes it.
He loves pitching to contact, working quickly. Strikeouts will come when you make good pitches. He's more happy when he is throwing strikes and getting quick outs.
Andy Fletcher is behind home tonight. The veteran crew chief is Tim McClelland. He works third base as J.D. Drew, another left-handed batter, steps in, the number 2 hitter for the Boston Red Sox. Drew went 1 for 4 in the ballgame last night, struck out a couple of times. Now in his 3rd year as a member of the Red Sox. He pops this one up, and Encarnacion chases it in foul territory and makes the play. You've got 2 down here in the top of the 1st inning.
The only man on that side of the infield to make that play. They will shift against J.D. Drew because their stats tell him that he hooks everything. Tonight we'll probably see that against Halladay, but not this time. A little pop up to left field for an easy out. Halladay is saying, you know, my goal is to keep things simple. You go out there, keep it simple, throw strikes, keep that simple approach to pitching, and the next thing you know, you're in the dugout.
He faces Victor Martinez, who wasn't part of the Red Sox when Halladay defeated them on July 19th, and what a performance it was for Roy. He gave up just 6 hits, 1 double, 5 singles, and got stronger as the game went on. He did not allow a base runner in the 7th, 8th, or 9th innings.
That was the game that he started slowly and then just mowed down the Red Sox right after the All-Star break.
Here it's 2 balls and no strikes on Martinez, who played in 99 games with the Indians before moving to Boston, hitting 15 home runs and driving in 67. He takes a strike, 2-1. The Red Sox played 3 in Texas before coming here. He's had a good trip, 7 for 15 on the road trip so far for Martinez, who was always a good hitter with the Indians.
Came up with a big base hit, a game-winning hit in Texas the last day they were there. He has always had a great eye, a good idea when he is up at the plate. Had an off year last year because of the injuries that he had. He had an elbow problem that he just could not extend through the ball. So his power numbers were way down.
Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that is low. A lot of good pitches there, but as it turns out, it's a 2-out walk to Victor Martinez.
I was talking to Kevin Youkilis as you see Roy Halladay asking the home plate umpire if that ball was down. Said, how are you guys so good at taking those borderline pitches? That's what makes you guys so tough. It says we work at it. We've got guys with good ideas when they get to the plate and refuse to swing at balls off the plate.
Here's a man at the plate that doesn't often chase a bad pitch, Kevin Youkilis.
That's why his on-base percentage is so good. 424. There it is right there. You combine that with a good average and production, and he has hit Roy Halladay really well in his career.
A 347 hitter against Halladay. And it's 2-0. Halladay fell behind Martinez and falls behind Youkilis, the number 4 hitter.
They just make you throw good pitches. The 3-1 pitch to Victor Martinez looked like it was there. It was called down. 9 times out of 10, a hitter is going to swing at that pitch. 3-1 there, looking for the fastball. He got it, but it was just under the knees, and he took it for ball 4.
Here's Youkilis running that right hand up the barrel of the bat. Uncoils for the pitch. It runs inside. 3-1. And for the second straight time, a hitter's count here. This ball is fouled away. It's early, Pat, I know, but strikeouts might be hard to come by tonight.
I think you have to forget about the strikeouts. Ricky Romero was talking after last night's game that Boston has been a real trouble for him. And it feels like they have that ability to just foul off tough pitches, keep at bats going. They don't swing at anything off the plate. And when you do come in 3-2 and you make a good pitch, they just foul it off and make you throw one where they can hit it.
Here's the payoff, and that's strike 3 called. Down goes Youkilis, and the Red Sox leave 1. There's a frustrated third baseman. There's nothing much he can do now. So we head for the bottom half of the first inning with Marcos Scutaro leading off for the Blue Jays. month of August. One of their hitters having a tremendous month just happens to be sitting in the 4 slot, Lyle Overbay. Overbay with a 266 average on the season, but look at his matchup against Clay Buchholz, who starts tonight for Boston, 5 for 7 with a double and an RBI. And it was Buchholz who earned the victory against the Blue Jays when he faced them on July 17th as a complimentary call-up from AAA. He's back there on the mound looking for another win.
And he can't seem to catch a break when it comes to matchups. This is his 3rd straight start against an elite starter. He faced Justin Verlander a couple of starts ago, then CC Sabathia. He pitched well, held opponents to just 2 runs in each of those outings, but didn't receive any run support.
So let's see, he gets Sabathia, then Verlander, and tonight Halladay.
And now Halladay. The Sox were shut out in both of those games, and Buchholz took the loss in both of them also.
And pitched very well Thursday against the Detroit Tigers, but ran into a very hot Verlander. As Buchholz faces Marcos Scutaro, who lines the first into center field, and he's gone. So that gives us a chance to look at the Boston Red Sox defensively tonight.
Same outfield as last night, but a jumbled infield. Bay, Ellsbury, and Drew in the outfield. Kevin Youkilis shifts over from 1st to 3rd to give Mike Lowell some time off. Casey Kochman, who was just picked up in a trade, gets his 7th start at first base. Gonzalez and Green have not been with the team. It's been jumbled up. This is Youkilis' 36th start at 3rd base. Gonzalez' 4th at shortstop. Kochman just his 7th, and Nick Green just his 6th at 2nd base. So lots of changes in the inner defense for the Red Sox.
Nothing changes with respect to Aaron Hill's season. He's been slotted in the number 2 hole all year long, plays 2nd base, and hits well. Look at those numbers. He's had a slide from time to time, but those are all-star numbers, MVP numbers for this team. And he shoots that one back at Buchholz. He puts a stop on the ball, enough for Green to pick it up and throw out Hill. But that came back at Buchholz the way we saw a shot drilled right back at Ricky Romero in a previous start.
Right to the glove side, which is beneficial for Buchholz. Falls off towards the first base side. Watch how he falls off, and the ball is hit right at his glove side. Ticks it, slows it down enough for Nick Green to make the play. That'll wake you up.
Got visions of Hiroki Kuroda, the Dodgers pitcher, a few days ago, who took one in the head, and boy, did that cause a few people to be weak-kneed. Luckily, he's okay as Adam Lind takes strike 1. Lind has had an exceptionally productive year, 6th in the American League in total bases with 242. Lots of homers, lots of extra base hits. This nothing more than a grounder to first. Buchholz is covering, and it's a 1-2-3 inning on 6 pitches. After 1, no score. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. in the Canadian National Bantam Championships up in Vaughan, Ontario. The tournament begins tomorrow. Players and coaches, most of them came down today to watch some batting practice. And the championship, as mentioned, begins tomorrow in earnest and runs through to August the 24th. I got a chance to speak with some of the members of the New Brunswick team who are out of St. John. And everybody's excited to get a ticket to the ball game tonight and watch one of the best in the American League, Roy Halladay, pitch against the Boston Red Sox. And he faces Big Papi. David Ortiz moves up a titch in the order after having a very good night at the plate last night. He scored 3 times, doubled in 2, drove in another run on a solo home run. And take away that 224 average, and Ortiz is red hot the last month or so.
Last 4 games, 3 home runs, 10 runs, 9 RBIs, and 9 walks. In that game yesterday, he also had 2 walks, one of them intentional. And Terry Francona was talking after the game. Shows you how smart I am. I didn't even have him in the lineup to begin with in yesterday's game. Tito could laugh after last night's game with a win by the Red Sox.
There's strike 1. And when we looked at the original lineup last night, as you mentioned, Ortiz wasn't in it, and we thought, boy, times have changed.
Yeah.
Just because there's a left-hander on the mound, that never meant that Ortiz would take a seat.
Papi was always penciled in at number 4, right after Manny Ramirez, but he has dropped down. But he's starting to produce. 68 driven in. And under 400 at bats as Halladay's sinker catches the outside corner.
Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it's hit high in the air to right field. Snyder is running out of room. It's gone. A home run, David Ortiz. He hits his 6th home run off Roy Halladay in his career.
Halladay stayed with hard stuff away and then tried to spin a breaking ball up there, and it sped the bat up of David Ortiz. Fastball's away. Now they're going to try something off speed, and you can see how the head of the bat got way out in front so he can pull the ball. Just speeds it up. It's almost a one-handed swing from Ortiz, but he's strong enough, and he's got the bat in a good position out in front to drive it over the wall in right field for the game's first run.
There's a big cut from Jason Bay, who knocked out his 26th last night. Ortiz now with 19 on the year. Bay hitting 6th tonight as he stands in against Halladay.
He is another player that is on one of those homer tears. 6 home runs in his last 10 games. Hit one here last night to right center field.
And you're talking about a man that went from July the 8th through August the 1st without one.
Well, when you get a pitch like this out over the plate and you've got that kind of power the other way, look where that one lands. You can hit it out of any ballpark.
The 1-2 pitch, and he goes after it, striking out. Bay is gone, and that's out number 1. You've got some home run hitters in this park tonight. Ortiz now with his 19th. Aaron Hill, Adam Lynn, right up there since the 6th of June.
What is that, 2 months? 2 months and change?
Month and a half? Oh, 2 months.
Aaron Hill with 16, Lynn with 15, and Big Papi leading them now with 19.
And Kendry Morales, what a surprisingly good year he's having out in Los Angeles. Speaking of the Angels, here's a man who played with them for a time, Casey Kochman. Picked up recently from the Braves.
Another one of those players that can spell and interchangeable parts that they can use between third and first base and catcher. Victor Martinez can move around. Kochman's a veteran. He's been around. He's a good hitter. He might not have the power that you would like from first baseman, but he can really hit and field his position. piece that the Boston Red Sox just picked up a couple of weeks ago.
I think it was Bob Elliott of the Toronto Sun who made the great point that the Red Sox have guys coming off their bench like Kochman who have never had to bother looking at the lineup card in past years to see if they're playing. They knew they were playing. They were always full-time players.
Everyday players. Mike Lowell's on the bench. He's always been an everyday player. Kochman. Another one of that. Oh, gets in on the fists of Kochman and he shatters his bat. So maybe you have a different role now on a championship caliber team. Halliday's going to cut this ball right on the label, and all that's left is the handle with some tape on it. Those are the kinds you end up sticking your thumb in ice after the game because your thumb is on fire right now.
Here's the 2-2. And a bouncer that hangs up there a while. And Halladay doesn't get it to first in time. Not much you can do about that.
Absolutely perfectly placed off the home plate. I mean, you can't go out there and throw a ball off the plate like this. Halladay is just waiting, and it seems forever to come down. Does a good job of getting the ball, transferring it, and quickly throwing it to Bay. Lyle Overbay just can't stretch enough. Kochman's got an infield single.
And the second hit for the Red Sox here in the second inning. He's on first. Number 8 hitter Nick Green is up. And Green takes ball one. '72 starts this year at short for Green. He plays second base again tonight. Dustin Pedroia has been back in Boston after the birth of his first child. Look for Pedroia to get back in the lineup tomorrow night.
In the meantime, the Red Sox have had to shuffle again in the middle of the diamond. They've had Julio Lugo play some shortstop. You mentioned Nick Green. They now have Gonzalez playing there. It's been almost a revolving door at shortstop.
There's a cut from Green. 2-2.
Green has played the most at shortstop for the Red Sox this year. You mentioned the 77 games. Lugo played 32. Jed Lowry has just not been able to get on track this year. He was going to be their everyday shortstop, but injuries have slowed his season down.
There's the breaking ball fouled away.
So how many shortstops have the Red Sox employed this year? Well, there they are. In how many games? Chris Woodward played a game there, the ex-Blue Jay. And Alex Gonzalez with just his 4th start since coming over from Cincinnati in that trade.
Here's the pitch from Halladay, way off the plate and in the dirt. So it's now 3-2 on Green.
We talked about his last 2 starts against Baltimore and Tampa Bay, both of them 8 innings, giving up 3 runs in those games combined. But the previous starts that Halladay had seemed to get off to a slow start. If you remember, I think you mentioned the Boston game right after the All-Star break. There was another Baltimore game, but then he just seems to find it and then just mows them down. One of those games, he retired 16 straight batters at one point in the game, but was rocky at the beginning. Here are the lines in those last 2 starts. Both of them wins for Halladay. Baltimore here and then at Tampa last Friday.
The Blue Jays got out to an early 5-0 lead on the Rays on Friday and won at 5-2 as Green fouls that one away again with Kochman on the move from first. So they put Kochman in motion here, but Green continues to foul off the baseball. He'll battle Halladay once again here with one out in the top of the second inning.
Halladay has the best pitches per inning ratio in the American League at just at 14 pitches per inning, which is outstanding.
He's had to work here, and he gets Green swinging. Here's the throw, and it's missed by Scutaro. He would have had Kochman at the bag, but he couldn't come up with a bouncer. And so Kochman steals second on the strikeout of Green. You've got two down and the number 9 hitter coming up.
The ball makes it in the air. It's a strike him out, throw him out. But Barajas, it looked like Green kind of got in his way. And bounces it to Scutaro, who can't come up with it. It'll go as a stolen base for Kochman. You start the runner to stay out of the double play, and it almost backfired on the Red Sox. They'll strike him out, throw him out.
Here's Alex Gonzalez then. First pitch is inside for ball 1. He spent the entire 2006 season with the Red Sox. Hit .255 in 111 games. Trying to improve themselves defensively. They picked him up from the Cincinnati Reds. Here are the Red Sox, the 4th best team in the American League at driving them in when they get into scoring position. And now Kochman rounds third and comes home. It's now 2-0 Boston on the 2-out single by Gonzalez.
When things are not going your way in baseball, little things like a stolen base, a ball in the dirt, come back to haunt you. Kochman was dead at second base, but they couldn't get him on the throw from the catcher, and now Gonzalez is going to cash him in on a ball just out of the reach of Marco Scutaro. 2-out single, plates the inning's second run.
And you have to consider all these additional runs when you think about the fact the Blue Jays have now lost 22 one-run games this year, most in the major leagues, after dropping the opener last night 10-9.
An error here, a missed cutoff throw there. You know, something in the game. And when you lose one-run games, they come back to magnify. Last night was a prime example. The errors, both of them, the one by Jansen and the one by Snyder, both of those runs should not have been on base. And both of them came around to score.
But it's been that kind of year. Cito Gaston knows that.
Nothing that Cito can do about that. He just has his players ready. And he was talking the other day. He said, you know, boys, we're not playing out the string. We're going to keep trying to fight and make ourselves a better baseball team and try to win as many games as possible.
He was also saying recently that he does not envision being around here after the 2010 season. He hasn't necessarily committed to not being here, but on the same level, he made it public that perhaps when his contract expires, they might want to put somebody else in that chair. 1-2, inside, strike 3, and there goes Ellsbury looking. Halladay gets 3 outs by way of the strikeout, but gives up 3 hits, including a home run to David Ortiz. with full array LED backlight and the lowest power consumption of any TV available today. Plus, a Blu-ray disc player. Aqua's LED, the evolution of LCD TV, continues. To enter and find out more, please visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca.
Before the first pitch of the second inning, let's take a look at the scouting report for tonight's starter, Clay Buchholz. He's got a major league fastball, low 90s, which is plenty of fastball. Good overhand curveball that he'll use, and his changeup is developing. Something that they're trying to instill in Clay Buchholz, that when you find yourself in trouble, you don't have to reach back and just throw it as hard as you can. Let's work on your changeup and maybe get some of these guys to roll over on you.
Swing and a miss from Lyle Overbay.
He's a great athlete, Clay Buchholz. He had some scholarship offers to go to college as a wide receiver. In fact, legend has it that he raced Jacoby Ellsbury. He's really fast when they were in AA and just lost by an eyelash to Ellsbury. We all know how fast Jacoby Ellsbury is.
He can run. So clearly, so can Buchholz, who goes up tonight against Roy Halladay. And if you believe the rumors, his name was mentioned in a possible swap when everybody was talking about whether or not Halladay would be moved before the deadline. When Boston's name came up, so too did Clay Buchholz. Dr. Sy, not Dr. By. The sign man at work again tonight. 3-1 on Overbay. And he shoots this ball to center field. Ellsbury is there, one away. So let's bring in our Rogers Fast Fact, brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. Did you know that all 18 hitters in the starting lineups had at least one hit last night?
No, I did not know that.
I didn't either. But these Fast Facts are brought to you not only by Rogers, but by our statistician, Scott Carson. And so we thank Scott for that one.
Take a bow.
There's Vernon Wells. His lone hit last night was a double in the 4th off Josh Beckett. Two 2-0 Boston. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's down 1-1. The start for Buchholz against the Blue Jays here in Toronto on July 17th was, for the most part, a reward for having such a terrific first half in AAA. Buchholz had gone 7-2 with Pawtucket, a 2.36 ERA that led the International League, and they wanted to, or at least they were telling us at the time, give him reason to believe that he had a future with his team and give him a start in the big leagues. Some were saying that it was an audition for the Blue Jays and their management in case they were interested in making some kind of a deal.
I remember the Red Sox also talking about, well, we want to back everybody else up another day, give them another day of rest, that he was going to come up, he was going to make this one start, and he was going to go back down to AAA.
Which he did.
And then John Smoltz had his problems. Tim Wakefield's still on the disabled list.
There's Wells on the ground for the shortstop Gonzalez. 2 gone now in the 2nd inning. And Smoltz today signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe he'll be in a setup role for their closer, Brian Franklin, because he just did not work out with the Boston Red Sox.
No. So it's time to go with the youth. Young Clay Buchholz is going to have a chance now the rest of the way to prove what he can do.
Well, the Blue Jays right now are without a hit from their first 5. Randy Ruiz batting .320 is a pretty good bet these days. He's riding a 6-game hit streak, and from an organizational standpoint shares the home run lead with Aaron Hill. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Hill has 28 home runs at the major league level. Ruiz has 3 here in the big leagues and 25 in AAA. A big, imposing figure. And he rolls that to short on the 1-1 pitch. Double clutch from Gonzalez, and another easy inning for Clay Buchholz tonight against the Blue Jays. And after 2, It's Boston by 2. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet.
And as we move to the top of the third inning, Roy Halladay on the mound. Everyone knows he likes to work quickly, but what does that do to the middle infielders? I asked Marco Scutaro before the game.
Oh, it's great, man. You get you in good rhythm, it gets you ready, and always throwing strike. That's it's great for infielders. You know, just to have a guy like that, just get you ready, get you in a good rhythm.
And Pat, having played some infield in your time, you know how much easier things become when you have a pitcher who works quickly.
The game seems to move quickly. You seem like you're in the game. You're not standing around. You know, as an infielder, you get ready, you bend down, and then if it's ball one and you have to stand up, if a guy's walking around on that mound and not commanding his pitches, it seems like you're bending and stooping the whole day and not doing anything.
And Scutaro in particular makes a habit of pulling his glove off when anybody else is on the mound between pitches, just to fiddle around and that kind of thing. He says he never does it though when Roy Halladay is on the mound, and now you know why. Scutaro has moved from short now to behind second base as they shift for J.D. Drew, who fouls that one back. 2 balls and a strike. Drew is 0 for 1 after popping out in foul ground over near third in the first inning.
They have hitting charts on the computer, and they talk about all right-handed pitchers. What has J.D. Drew done? And if you look at it, it's all red lines from second base over to first base. You hardly see anything on the ground on the left side of the infield. And that's why you see 4 infielders in that half shot of the infield. Pitch him in.
Well, as you just saw, Marco Scutaro told me a fib. He says he never takes his glove off.
Well, maybe on foul balls,
pitching,
right?
And there he is. Look at him. Thanks, Marco.
Maybe he can do that on foul balls. Not
That's true.
You know, because you do have a little bit more time, but not much.
That's rip foul.
The Red Sox are making it tough on Roy Halladay. 30 pitches alone in the second inning. The American League's best at 14 pitches per inning. He's up to 52 already, and we've just started the third.
And Drew lines it the other way. Lind has to reach up and pull it down for the out. So he's gone with the first out here in the third inning, and we would like to look in on the big comfy chairs in the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone. And some of the participants in the Canadian Bantam Championships being played up in Vaughan, Ontario, are enjoying the comfy chairs tonight. Boy, there must be 1,000 players at this ball game tonight who are taking part in that tournament, and only 4 of them get to sit in the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone.
How'd that happen?
I wonder why they're so special. Congratulations, though, those guys. Those are great seats, as we well know, as you see Victor Martinez batting for the second time. He drew a walk against Halliday in the first, and he drives this one to left center field, and it's down for a base hit. Wells over to get it quickly, and he holds Martinez to a single.
Good accurate throw right there from Vernon Wells. Jose Bautista is not in the lineup. He leads the team in outfield assists. And if Martinez would have taken off on this ball to left center field, this would have been number 6 for Wells. He gets over there quickly, cuts it off on the backhand, comes up throwing, and he's very accurate right on the bag, holding Martinez to a single.
Kevin Youkilis now, he went down on strikes in the first inning. 1 on, 1 out here in the third. 2-0 Boston. There's strike 1. Base hit left field. And Youkilis, like Ricky Romero last night, continues to see Halliday well. Hitting almost .350 against him in his career.
He's got such a short swing that he is not fooled on a fastball in the inner half. You think you can get him, but he's quick. He's got very good hands. The shorter the swing, the longer you can wait at the plate and catch that good fastball in the inner half. And Youkilis does it right there. Second straight hit off of Halliday.
So it puts a pair of base runners on for David Ortiz, who yanked his 19th home run into right field in the second inning. And here is Big Papi again. And he shoots that first one foul. Brings up an interesting statistic, Pat, and that is that Halliday leads the major leagues in having opponents swing at the first pitch 34% of the time. And I know we saw Ortiz do it there, but I haven't seen a whole lot of first pitch swings tonight from the Red Sox.
Halliday hasn't been as sharp as we've seen him in the past so far. It's only the third inning. But you're right. Red Sox batters, generally, they don't go up there just hacking away at the first pitch. A lot of fly ball hitters on this team also, the Red Sox. So you don't see a lot of double plays. And you don't see a lot of balls on the ground. There have been 7 outs already, just 1 of them on the ground. That was the first batter of the game. Looking for something here that they can turn over and get out of the inning.
Here's the 0-2. Down at the knees, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's been an interesting summer for Ortiz. He started slowly. Didn't hit a home run until May, and then in the last month has had to answer questions as to why a New York paper came out with information that his name is on that fabled list. And he strikes out there. Down he goes. He got Halliday in the second, but he doesn't get him in the third, striking out for out number 2.
Make good pitches, you're going to get good hitters out. Jumps ahead, and then watch the diving action on that cutter from Roy Halladay right off the hitting plane and under the bat of David Ortiz. They have made him work. 5 strikeouts now for Roy Halladay.
Ball 1 to Jason Bay.
Bay has been an RBI man for the Boston Red Sox over his last 12 games. He has knocked in 10 runs. It's one of those guys that gets hot and can carry a team, and everything that he hits is hard, and picking up RBIs in big situations. 341 over his last 12 games.
We had a chuckle before the game. Bay was telling me about the ceremony where he became an American citizen, and he said 400 people showed up to watch the ceremony, including 20 people from the press. He said in Pittsburgh, no one would have cared. And on 2-1, he swings and misses.
That happened in Boston?
Yeah.
So was that 400 people from Red Sox Nation?
Fans.
Wow.
Once word got out, 400 people showed up at the courthouse. 2-2. And 2 out, 2 on for the Red Sox. Inside, ball 3. And I might add, and Jason wanted us to make sure we made this clear, he did not give up his Canadian citizenship. He's simply a dual citizen. Halladay turns off the mound and looks Martinez back.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen Roy Halladay do that.
I looked at you and you had that quizzical look on your face. I'm thinking the same thing. Rarely does he make that kind of a move. There go the runners, and there goes Bay. He goes around, and he just now realizes that he struck out. Halladay's walking off, and now so too is Jason Bay. 2-0 Boston as we head for the bottom of the third. And the guest this time around is in the employ of the visiting Los Angeles Angels, Alfredo Griffin, 1979 American League co-rookie of the year. He'll be signing autographs for fans.
He'll sign autographs, but I guess he won't be joining us?
No, he won't be coming to the booth. He'll be working first base for the Angels.
Well, maybe if we sit in those seats down there
and yell.
Well, maybe he'll come over in between innings and chat with us, right?
Hey, don't laugh. Remember, I think 2 years ago when we worked in the green seats down there, the TD seats, Matt Stairs kept coming over. He was playing first base that day.
Throwing baseballs at us.
Taking sips of our drinks, too. It's a 2-0 Boston lead here in the bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. There is Edwin Encarnacion, a light-hitting third baseman. Up against the right-hander, Clay Buchholz. Buchholz pitched a dandy in his last start Thursday against Detroit. He went 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs, 1 earned on 5 hits. But Justin Verlander was that much better. And so Buchholz is 1-3 on the season.
So that was on Thursday. Do you know what he did on Friday? No. They went to Texas. And I told you last inning he's very fast. He's a good athlete. Terry Francona had a pinch run in a game.
I remember that, yes.
And he slid into home and was out by a mile.
Head first.
Head first. And got some cuts on that right hand, that pitching hand. Now he says it's not a problem. You can see from what he's done so far here tonight, 6 up and 6 down, it isn't a problem, but had to hold their breath for a little bit when he slid into home and got those abrasions.
Here's his 3-1 pitch, ripped foul by Encarnacion. And he was tagged out, as you say, by a mile on what, as I recall, was going to be the tying run. Now, the Red Sox came back and won that game.
On a Victor Martinez double.
The only game they won in Texas, in fact.
First time that he was on the bases as a professional.
3-2 pitch, drilled to center, and it hangs up there for the center fielder, Ellsbury. So 7 up and 7 down so far for Clay Buchholz.
Edwin Encarnacion, I think, is a low ball hitter. You throw him down there and he can golf it. He does right there, hits it hard, but it hangs up. And right there he says, what do I need to do to get a hit? They'll all even out. You'll get that bleeder to right field for a hit. Just put a good approach at the plate, and that'll happen.
Here's Barajas. This is only the 25th start in the big leagues in Clay Buchholz's career. And if you've been watching baseball the last few years, you remember his second big league start. He no-hit the Baltimore Orioles back in '07. And he airmails that one right over the head of Barajas.
That one slipped. Oops, give me it back. Rob Barajas knows when a curveball is a miss, and that one right over his back.
Look at the people in the back.
They want to, you know what they want to see? They want to see a scuffle.
Yes, they do. Really? Who can blame them? Although, you know, the way things went for the Red Sox in that Detroit series, I'm not so sure they're interested in getting involved again. They lost Kevin Youkilis for 5 games.
Yeah, and they had a losing record while he was gone.
Here's the 2-1. And that is drilled to center field, and that's a base hit. You go from one low ball hitter to another, and this one gets down in time for Barajas, the first hit of the ball game for the Blue Jays.
Barajas is a low ball hitter, especially when the ball is out in front. Martinez is sitting on the inside corner, but it floats out over the middle. And like his home run, he gets to that one quickly and hits it hard to center field. Going to have a chuckle about that curveball.
Well, here comes Travis Snyder. And as you saw last night, he could tie this game with one swing. He had a terrific return, hitting a home run in his first at-bat back from AAA. He took Josh Beckett to the opposite field and then ended up going 2 for 3. So he adds to his totals from about a month and a half. He was with the club for 6 weeks. Buchholz the 0-1. And the Blue Jays last night were able to light up Josh Beckett for 7 runs over 5 1/3. And of course, the press, looking for some excuses at the end of the ball game, made mention of the fact that Victor Martinez caught Beckett for the first time ever last night, and Beckett was quick to say, hey, it's not the catcher's fault.
Yeah, I think the press was kind of looking for a reason. And Beckett said, no, forget about it. He caught 2 Cy Young Award winners the last 2 years. That was my fault. There's the power that you were talking about from Travis Snyder, the ability to take a ball away from you, put the barrel of the bat on it hard and drive it to left field. Impressive numbers while he was in AAA. That was after missing the month of June with a back problem.
The 2-1 pitch, a wave and a miss. And that's the second strike on Snyder, courtesy of that nifty changeup from Clay Buchholz.
He's pitching it backwards. First pitch changeup, and he swung through it. A couple of fastballs to get behind, and then a changeup. It's one of the things that Buchholz has said that he is doing much better this year than last year. He is throwing his breaking ball when he is behind in the count.
Martinez sets up inside, and they jam Snyder. He gets a piece, fouls it away. Still 2-2.
When Buchholz was getting in trouble, he had a disastrous year last year. Just disastrous. Falling in love with that breaking ball. He had to figure out that I have to pitch off my fastball. I've got to command that fastball. Now he's throwing it to parts of the strike zone instead of just trying to guide it over the plate.
Strike 3 called. And there goes Snyder.
See, he put changeup in his mind with the 2 swing and misses, and then that allows that fastball that's about 92 or 93 to look about 97 or 98. Whizzes it by Snyder for his first strikeout.
And Buchholz put it exactly where Martinez wanted it.
Up. Tough to get on a good high fastball, get on top of it.
So with 2 outs, here's Scudero again. He lined out to center field first time up. Breaking ball, 1-0. We spoke earlier of Buchholz no-hitting the Baltimore Orioles in his second major league start.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, his counterpart tonight, Roy Halladay, had a similar type of outing in his second big league start, as that one's fouled away by Scudero. See, I'm buying time here because we're building a graphic and we want to show you the similarities. But Buchholz no-hit Baltimore in his second big league start, September of 07. Remember what Roy Halladay did in his second big league start? A one-hitter here at the Sky Dome against the Detroit Tigers, a no-hitter with 2 out in the 9th inning.
8 2/3 of a no-no.
Which is why you should never say the word Bobby Higginson around Roy Halladay.
So do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
In Buchholz's case?
Yes.
Well, what kind of year did he have last year?
I think it was a good thing for an individual accomplishment, but the bar was raised. And as a young player, to try and get back to that bar has been a struggle. And fans and people are going to say, well, he threw a no-hitter. He must be great. He must be a 20-game winner. Hey, this game is not that easy. So I think that's hurt him.
Which might explain his struggles a year ago. He's not struggling tonight. He's given up only 1 hit through 3. And he's got a 2-0 lead. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet.
Log on to BlueJays.com for your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to see the Jays in comfort. TD Canada Trust, putting you in the comfort zone.
Tomorrow night is ladies' night at the ballpark. Sit in the ladies' night out section and receive a Blue Jay cap. It's the third and final game of the series between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. And in fact, one lucky fan wins lunch with me, Pat, and Sam on Friday at the local drive-in burger joint just down the road from here. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
That is Friday. It's not just
ladies'
one,
night is
right?
tomorrow night, and our lunch is Friday afternoon.
And they can bring a friend.
They can bring a friend.
Yeah. They don't have to come by themselves and hang out with us.
No, they don't.
Guys,
no,
right?
that'd be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially if you have to sit there and listen to Cosentino all day. Here's Kochman. And Hill throws him out from second. Bottom of the order coming up here, Pat. And, you know, how many times have we seen Roy Halladay feel his way through the first couple of innings of a game, have some trouble, give up a hit or a run here and there, and then lock right in?
We were talking off air in between the innings, and we were saying that this is the inning that will tell what type of night it's going to be for Roy Halladay. You're right. The first couple of innings, he kind of tries to find himself. And then the fourth inning is when he has taken off, when he found it. Good start here by getting Kochman on just a couple of pitches.
He struck out Green in the second. And Green, on his swing, might have gotten in front of Rod Barajas, who then tried to throw out Kochman, who successfully stole second and then came home on a 2-out base hit by Gonzalez. And it goes back to those additional runs that we saw the Red Sox score last night that helped them win a one-run game, 10-9.
In little plays that get magnified as the game goes along. Kochman was dead to rights at second base, but the ball skipped on Scudero and he wasn't able to make the play.
This ball is popped up down the line and it drifts out of play. So 2 strikes on Green, the number 8 hitter. Halladay's career numbers against the Boston Red Sox are not overly impressive. 13 wins, 12 losses, and an ERA at about 4.3. And he just got out number 2 by striking out Green.
2 up, 2 down. 7 strikeouts already for Halladay. Watch how he gets that ball. Looked like a 3-finger changeup or a sinker that he puts a little bit extra pressure on that one finger to make it go down.
There's Gonzalez. There's a strike. Early on, we saw Halladay falling behind hitters. Now he's getting ahead with strike 1.
And 4th inning. There it is. It looks like he's starting to get locked in. And when he does, you'll see a lot of ground ball outs. 7 strikeouts and 2 on the ground. The rest of it in the air.
Now there is Gonzalez with a base hit to center field. He's 2 for 2.
Spin a slider up there and you make a mistake. I mean, everybody's not perfect, right? You say, why don't you just pop that ball up or foul it off? Good at bat there by Gonzalez to pick on a pitch that he could hit and hit it hard to left center.
And now back comes Jacoby Ellsbury. And he drills this one to center field. And Snyder won't get to it, nor will Vernon Wells. Here is Gonzalez rounding. He comes in to score with ease on Ellsbury's triple. It's 3-0.
He got the first two batters quickly here in the fourth, a single, and then first pitch swinging at Ellsbury, and he's got some pop. He might be a small guy, but this is his sixth triple. And he can really run. Watch him turn on the Jets halfway between first and second. He makes it into third, really without a throw.
That's his sixth of the year. David DeJesus of the Kansas City Royals leads the American League with 8 of them. And so J.D. Drew now steps in with a runner at third, 2 out, and a 3-0 lead. Alex Gonzalez, way down there in the 9 spot, has been a pest tonight. He drove in the second run with 2 outs, gets on base for Ellsbury, who triples, and scores the third run of the game for Boston. Here's their number 2 hitter, J.D. Drew, who is 0 for 2.
They go out and try and find hitters that fit their mold, the Boston Red Sox. Good idea at the plate. Good average hitters. They've got some switch hitters in their lineup. They've got some speed, but they all have a good idea of the strike zone. Doesn't mean they're not going to strike out, but they don't swing at a lot of pitches off the plate.
Ball 4. Halladay loses Drew and walks his second man. Just when we got to the point of saying perhaps he's locking in here after he got the first 2 out, Gonzalez singles, Ellsbury triples, Drew now follows with a walk, and Victor Martinez will bat with 2 on.
Got to face a big RBI guy who's been on twice already. Takes his time and seems to always work himself into a good hitter's count. Victor Martinez.
One for one as Martinez steps in and waves at that ball inside.
Doc has a streak of 8 straight games of throwing at least 7 innings in jeopardy here tonight.
No question there. He's already thrown 85 pitches.
The last time he did not throw 7 innings was back on June the 29th. That was against Tampa Bay.
And we'll throw that one out as a mulligan because he just returned from the disabled list. In fact, I think he went 3+ in the game prior against Florida when he ended up straining his groin.
Came out on the 12th. Didn't pitch again until the 29th. It was not as sharp.
So if you take away those 2 starts, one against Florida, one against Tampa Bay, when he was on a pitch count anyway, he really, as a healthy pitcher this year, has gone at least 7 in every game.
In every game. 21 out of 23 starts. Best in the major leagues.
Needs to get Martinez here. 1 and 2. Here it comes. And it's lined right at Hill, and he catches it on the fly to retire the side. That's why they shift on people like Martinez, and it pays off there. But a single and a triple for the Red Sox gives them another run, and they have a 3-0 advantage on the Blue Jays. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. TV continues. One of the pitchers tonight has given up 3 runs on 7 hits, and it's not Clay Buchholz.
Halladay just doesn't look the same. Just a little bit off his game. Clay Buchholz, on the other hand, has been very sharp. He's just given up 1 hit. He joined the rotation here in Toronto back in July, so he's had 6 starts. You throw out this 1 start that he had in Baltimore when he gave up 7 earned runs, and he's kept his team in the game every time out there. And I guess that's all you can ask for from your starting pitcher, is give your team a chance to win. And he has certainly done that.
But here is second time through the order as Aaron Hill takes ball 1 high. Hill shot one right back at Buchholz in the first inning. It deflected off his glove, right to Green at second. And he made an easy play, so Hill is 0 for 1.
The whole key for Clay Buchholz is throwing strikes. He's done it so far here through 3 innings. Coming into this game here tonight, Jamie, he had thrown 32 innings and he'd had 19 walks and 20 strikeouts. That is not a good ratio. Halladay, on the other hand, is about 7 to 1. Buchholz 1 to 1, so he has to throw strikes. He has done that, and he opens the 4th inning with 3 straight balls.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. Hill is taking. Buchholz was a sandwich pick between the 1st and 2nd round in the 05 draft. A Texas native. What's with Texas and guys that can throw hard?
I remember that winter. The Boston Red Sox caught a lot of grief from the media because they let Pedro Martinez walk. He was a free agent. They had just won the World Series, and they sent him off to sign with the New York Mets. And the front office said, how can you do that? Well, they got that sandwich pick from Martinez signing as a free agent. They used it to pick up Clay Buchholz.
Base hit to left field. So perhaps this is the start of something in the 4th inning for the Blue Jays as Hill leads off with a single.
Hit the ball hard his first time up, didn't have anything to show for it. Now a breaking ball, he stays back. Watch his hands stay back on this curveball. He clutches and then rips it right by Youkilis in the left field. Good start here in the 4th. Left-handers have hit Buchholz to a 339 clip. Now Lind and Overbay coming up. This could be a good start here.
Lind pulled the ball to the right side in the 1st inning, grounding out to the first baseman Kochman. And he drills this one in the air into left field, but Jason Bay roams to his right, makes the catch in the corner, and sends Hill back to first. That looked an awful lot like that bases loaded at bat that Lind had in the 8th inning last night, facing Jonathan Papelbon.
The exact same thing I was thinking of. As soon as the ball left the bat, I was thinking about that at bat last night against Papelbon. It looked like he had enough to at least get it off the wall, but the ball just died in left field.
It brings up Overbay. Overbay went 1 for 5 in the game last night, but that one was a 9th inning single to center field at a time when the Blue Jays trailed by 1. They needed to get their lead man on and did, but they just couldn't bring him around and suffered a loss in the opener. Boston is now 67 and 51 on the year. The Blue Jays are now 7 games under 500, 55 and 62.
Talks of finishing strong. Hey, let's get to 500. Wasn't that way a couple of months ago.
No, by the middle of May it was, who are these Blue Jays and what are they doing in first place?
Right, 13 games over 500.
Overbay takes 3-1. One away in the bottom of the 4th inning, with Hill after his leadoff single standing at first. Overbay is the cleanup hitter tonight, as the Blue Jays trail Boston 3-0. Toronto coming in has lost 3 straight. And they've got their ace on the mound, so would love to give him a couple of runs here. Strike 2.
They have not lost 4 in a row since June 23rd through the 30th. It helps to have someone like Roy Halladay in your starting lineup to go out there and stop losing streaks. In his career, 68 and 37 when pitching after a Blue Jays loss. So he has stopped Blue Jay losing streaks 68 times. Think about that. 5 times this year.
Here's Buchholz with the payoff, and it's down for ball 4. So he walks Overbay. And the embattled Vernon Wells will get a chance to hit here with 2 men on.
You know, there's no question that Clay Buchholz has major league stuff. He has worked with the Red Sox psychologist Bob Tewksbury, the former major leaguer, to when you get into these situations here, when things are tough, to just throw easy. You don't have to blow the ball by guys. And he says that has helped him quiet the self-doubts and set off a bell in his head that said, hey, this is what you want to do. You've got to do it. The Red Sox are giving him a chance. It's time to come through for him. Wells has struggled in this situation here all season long. Runners in scoring position under 200. A chance now for Vernon Wells to erase that. First and second, just 1 out.
Wells on the 0-1 pitch, takes it low. 1-1. We last saw Wells hit a home run in the previous homestand off Baltimore's Brian Mattis, a 2-run shot. That was his first home run with men on base in about 3 months. Here he's got 2 on, a 1-1 pitch, and he holds up for ball 2.
You have to be strong to be able to stop a bat right there at mid-swing. It clearly holds up on that breaking ball for Buchholz.
Inside, 3-1.
This is where his problems have been. Buchholz throwing strikes consistently. It looked like a world beater the first 3 innings. Giving up just that scratch single to Barajas last inning.
And you've got a struggling hitter here at the plate who's got a chance to look for a fastball on 3-1.
Right.
So Buchholz sets, checks the runner, and here comes the pitch, and it's fouled off down the right field side.
This is one of the things that the Red Sox have wanted to work with Clay Buchholz. When they find him in trouble like this, let's slow the game down. Let's get a little bit more methodical. Since Hill led off this inning with a single, he has really brought the game to a crawl. You can see him thinking right now, looking down and thinking and saying, okay, what do I need to do here? Let's get on the same page. What do I need to throw here to try and get this hitter out?
Here's the pitch, and it's drilled to center field. Base hit for Wells. Hill turns for home and comes in to score. The Blue Jays are on the board thanks to Vernon Wells.
They will not go away. It seemed like they played catch-up ball all night last night. They fall behind 3-0 here, and now they're starting to chip away. A ball away from Vernon Wells. This was a pitch that was giving him trouble, but he stays on this one. See how level his shoulders were on that time? He stayed over that ball and rips it in the right field for an RBI single.
Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Jamie, Pat, earlier you guys referred to the two outstanding games Buchholz had pitched against Detroit and New York. Victor Martinez was the catcher in both of those games. Now, he's really relied on Jason Varitek and bullpen coach Gary Tuck on how to get better behind the plate, and it seems as if he and Buchholz have pretty good rhythm. Part of what you just saw right there, that as soon as that hit was given up, Martinez was the first guy out there before pitch coach John Farrell could go out there to try and settle him down. We'll see if it works in this situation.
Well, Vernon Wells is able to single and drive in a run here for his 49th run driven in of the year. Consider on that 6-game road trip through New York and Tampa Bay, he drove in 1 run. So he is probably feeling a little better standing over there at first base, knowing he's put the Blue Jays on the board at 3-1 Boston, as Randy Ruiz steps in with 2 on. And hasn't he proven to be dangerous in a short time with the Blue Jays? The 1-0 pitch from Buchholz is grounded foul.
3 home runs, but 3 solo shots. Here's a time right here. Let's unload. Hit a home run with a couple of guys on.
And all against fastball pitchers. Josh Beckett, Jabba Chamberlain, A.J. Burnett. Strike 2. Wells is at first after the RBI single. Overbay at second. There's Randy Ruiz facing young Clay Buchholz. Who gets the sign from Martinez. And that pitch fools Ruiz, and down he goes on the strikeout. 2 away.
You talked about fastball pitchers, and he's turned around some of the better fastball pitchers. This is a changeup, and he's way out in front. Messed up the timing to Ruiz there to pick up a big out.
Here then a smiling Edwin Encarnacion, who hit a bullet to left field. Excuse me, to center field in the 3rd inning. But it's 0 for 1. That pitch is high, 1-0. Buchholz had an easy time in the first 3 innings, giving up just a single to Rod Barajas. Here the Blue Jays have elevated his pitch count as he deals with Encarnacion.
I have heard from sports psychologists when they work with pitchers to get them focused in to find a spot on the ground that they look straight down and help them to refocus. Pick something on the mound where you're standing on there and you're looking down and you can see yourself the pitch you're going to make. So you focus. And I've noticed that with Buchholz this inning. When he has found himself in trouble, he stands on the mound and he looks straight down, and that helps you to refocus. Right there, see that? Concentrate.
And then just as he comes set, he does it as well.
Yeah. Sports psychologists who work with pitchers give them that focal point there and help them to channel their vision and get that tunnel vision back. I think that's what they mean when they say that they want to slow the game down and start methodically thinking about pitches to get yourself back into a good groove.
2 out and a 3-1 pitch on the way from Buchholz, fouled back by Encarnacion. Wells and Overbay will be off on the move from Buchholz, who's had to throw 28 pitches in this inning. Didn't have to work much through the first 3, but they have made him work here. Grounded to third. Here's Youkilis. And there's the inning. The Blue Jays get 1 on 2 hits. It's 3-1 Boston.
Up the draft as the deadline was 2 nights ago. He explained how scouting director John Lalonde went about his business.
Well, I think Johnny Lalonde, our scouting director, did a fabulous job. I think, he took some higher risk guys from the third, fifth, sixth rounds down through there, and he was able to sign those guys as kind of fallbacks when the other guys up the top didn't want to take what we were offering them. We were able to slide some of that money down to those guys and get those guys, which, in an evaluation standpoint, those guys may have been second and third rounders, but we were able to get them a little later and take advantage of a pretty good philosophy that I thought Johnny did a good job with.
Well, guys, as the night goes on, we'll explain a couple of those players. First of all, Jacob Marcinek, an 18-year-old high schooler, was a third-round selection. They went about 3 times over slot with him. Daniel Webb was an 18th round pick, 3 times over slot with him, and former big leaguer Butch Hobson, his son Christopher Hobson, they went 3 times over slot with him, picking him in the 6th round. And what that means is Major League Baseball assigns a certain monetary value to where a draft pick is, and as players go further down in the draft, that value lessens. Paying over slot means simply that you're paying more than the projected value for that player. So for the first time in J.P. Ricciardi's tenure, the Blue Jays were given the go-ahead to pay over slot to get players, and so lessening the blows somewhat of not signing the upper-end guys like Paxton that we talked about yesterday and Jake Iliopoulos, as we send it back upstairs to you guys.
And I think, Sam, their first-round pick, 20th overall, Chad Jenkins, got right around slot money, about $1.3 million to sign. And so teams are now dealing with less time to worry about getting picks signed. So you're going to see this more often as we continue through the years. High draft picks who just don't get signed and go right back into the draft. And that'll be the case for the two Canadians that Sam mentioned, James Paxton from British Columbia, Jake Iliopoulos from Newmarket, Ontario.
You're going to have to do your homework, that if that's the guy that you target, you better have a good idea if you're going to sign him or not. It used to be you could wait all the way till next year before the next year's draft, and he's still property if he doesn't sign. Now you've got about 2 months to sign him, or he goes back in next year's draft.
There's a ground ball picked up by Hill. And he throws out Youkilis. No, Youkilis is safe. Overbay thinks he got the tag down, and he is hot. Here comes Cito Gaston out to deal with Greg Gibson, who's working first base.
You usually don't see Lyle Overbay get excited except when he thinks he's right. And right away he went right to him, and Cito's going to go face to face with Gibson. He's going to ask for an explanation. I think what Gibson is saying is, yes, he did tag him, but Youkilis was already on the bag. That's what it looked like when he told Lyle Overbay. Throw was high by Aaron Hill, so we'll charge him with an error. His 7th of the season. This one goes up high, and I think he got it right. He did tag him, but nope, not on that replay from that angle. And this one will really show it. There's the tag.
There's the tag.
And he's not on the base.
So Overbay has a case.
It happened so quickly, it looked like that left foot was getting in there. But Overbay was right.
E4 on the play. The Blue Jays committed 2 errors last night, and both of them led to runs. We'll find out if the Red Sox could take advantage as Youkilis takes off for second, and now he has to get back to the bag as Encarnacion dropped the ball, and he is safe. He beat the throw but seemed to come off the bag.
Couldn't tell from up here if the ball hit the dirt on the throw from Barajas. It looked like it was a short hop, and he was down there. It got kicked out by Youkilis. This will show as the ball comes in, hits the dirt, short hop, cannot be handled by Encarnacion. It goes back for the tag, and it's a good call. He's safe. So some sloppy play by the Jays, and their defense has been so good all season long. You mentioned a couple of errors last night as the ball dribbled out in front of home plate by Ortiz. They made a couple of errors last night, and they still lead the American League in fielding percentage. And it cost them a couple of runs.
You'd like to say, well, they lost their Gold Glove third baseman Scott Rowland to Cincinnati, but none of the errors in this series have involved the third baseman Encarnacion as you look at the situation since the first of the month.
13 errors in 15 games since Scott Rowland was traded now has led to 600 runs.
Jason Bay laces this one down the line, and that is out of here. A home run. They do take advantage of the error by Hill. And that means it's a 5-1 lead for the Boston Red Sox.
Roy Halladay got Jason Bay twice. His first 2 times up on strikeouts, making good pitches. But this time he knew it. Watch the reaction as Bay hammers that one. Halladay knew it too. Didn't even want to look at it. Just puts his head down. He knows that Bay got all of that one. Down the line hard over the 328 sign. Second home run of the night. Ortiz homered earlier. The Sox are homer happy. 5 straight games now. They have hit at least 2 home runs in a game.
And now you know why they're calling Massachusetts the Bay State. Boston has absolutely fallen in love with the pride of Trail, British Columbia. No more Manny being Manny. No more games being played in the clubhouse. No more,
all of that.
Breaks inside the Green Monster while, the rest of the players want to get a game going. As Kochman gets sawed off again. He's lost 2 bats so far tonight and been sawed off on both occasions as he grounds out. And Roy Halladay, and we talked about this, already over 100 pitches thrown, and he's not through 5 innings.
30 in the second inning alone. This coming from a guy who's got the best ratio in the American League, fewest pitches per inning at 14.
He has struck out Nick Green twice. Green goes after the first one, perhaps taking a lesson from Jason Bay.
Bay didn't wait to get the 2 strikes. First pitch hit. He hit the first pitch from Sean Camp last night for a home run.
There's Encarnacion. And that's it for the Red Sox. But the error puts Youkilis on. And then Bay takes Halladay out. It's 5-1 Boston. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. Saturday and Sunday. You can get tickets now by checking out the Blue Jays website or visiting a Rogers Plus location. And of course the box office will be open tomorrow, so you can call them at 416-341-1234. Here at the Rogers Center tonight, it's 5-1 for Boston. Into the bottom of the 5th inning, Clay Buchholz to face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters Barajas, Snyder, and Scudero. We'd like to take this moment to wish a happy 97th birthday to Millicent Cook, who's watching in Victoria, British Columbia. As Rod Barajas steps in 1-for-1, he singled to center in the 3rd. The first hit the Blue Jays managed against Buchholz. This is the last series the Blue Jays will play here against Boston this year. They've got 6 more games after tomorrow night, and all of them will be played at Fenway Park. So far at home this year, the Jays are 4-3 against the Red Sox, as Barajas lifts a high fly ball to left field, and there is out number 1.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit after last night's game. The schedule, as Josh Renicky has picked up a ball and he's starting to get loose. From here on out, the Blue Jays play 2 teams with losing records. The rest of them all winning records. I mean, it's not going to be easy the rest of the way. You mentioned the 2 series in Boston. They still have to face the Yankees. In New York, they go to Texas for 4 big games. Detroit, they're in first place. They go there for 4 games at the beginning of next month. So the young kids like Travis Snyder and the young pitchers, they're going to be tested the rest of the way.
The 2 teams they'll face with losing records are the Baltimore Orioles and the Minnesota Twins. And yet, you know, the Twins being in the American League Central, they've still got an outside chance at making the postseason.
They're under 500.
Yes, they are.
But they're right there.
But they're only 6.5 games out of first. So you get on a run as Snyder strikes out, maybe win a series or 2 against first place Detroit, and you're right back in it.
Well, if you can't win the division, it's time to decide who can. And there are the games that are left against 500 teams. 36 of the 45 against teams with winning record. 26 more against the AL East, which is always a bear to go through.
Here's a liner right to Green, and that puts away Scutaro. An easy 5th for Buchholz. He goes through the order cleanly. And Roy Halladay takes a seat. And this may, in fact, be it for him as Renicky is warming and may come in. Going to have an all-you-can-eat section for all 3 games of the Angels series. Tickets begin at $36. You can get some more information by logging on to BlueJays.com. Baseball and food, a great combination. It's the all-you-can-eat section tonight, or this weekend, pardon me, with the Angels here, and we haven't seen this very often. A short night for Roy Halladay, just 5 innings. And he is now out of this ball game. Josh Renicky will come in from the bullpen, but he throws 103 pitches. Maybe best to just shut him down and get him ready for his next outing.
Shortest outing since he hurt himself against Florida back on June the 12th. The reason he came out after 3 was because of the problem that he had, that injury. This time, though, 103 pitches just wasn't right from the first inning. So he will give way to Josh Renicky, the hard-throwing reliever that the Blue Jays got from the Reds. Fastball, he'll sink it, a little changeup and a breaking ball, and he is a strikeout pitcher. Throws very hard.
But he's had a rough start to his career with the Blue Jays. Renicky in 4 previous games pitching to a 13.50 ERA. He's given up 5 earned runs over 3 1/3. He fouls this one away, does the hitter Alex Gonzalez, who was 2 for 2 against Halladay.
There are the numbers. Base on balls, a big problem there in just a 3 1/3 inning.
Renicky pitched Saturday in Tampa Bay, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits, walked 2 batters. And so he comes in here in the 6th inning with his club down by 4. And he's facing Gonzalez, the number 9 hitter, hitting .308.
He has had 2 very good at bats tonight, Gonzalez. The 2-out single in the 2nd inning to drive in a run, and then a base hit.
A ground ball taken by Scudero. He gets it to first quickly and gets the runner Gonzalez. One shortstop throws out another, and there's 1 out in the 6th inning.
Had a long way to go for that one. Marco Scudero. Ball tapped back through the middle of the box. He had to go a long way. You've got to set your feet. You've got to be quick. Scudero does that, gets it to Overbay just in time. Gonzalez thinking base hit all the way, thinking infield single, but you can tell from that replay he is just out.
Here's Ellsbury again, who tripled off of Halladay in the 4th inning, and in the process drove home Gonzalez with Boston's 3rd run. Here's one of the harder batters in the American League to strike out. Ellsbury does so once in every 10.4 at bats. That's 9th best in the American League.
Sam was talking to him at the end of the game yesterday about him moving up and down in the lineup. They've always envisioned him as a leadoff type hitter because of his speed. He's hitting .300. You mentioned he's hard to strike out, but got off to a rough start this year, and Terry Francona wanted to take some of the pressure off, and they moved him down in the lineup, hit him down in the 7, 8, 9 hole. This is where he is going to be for the rest of his career.
Let's bring in Sam.
Well, Jamie, while Roy Halladay wasn't at his sharpest tonight, another disturbing trend continues when he pitches. Over the course of his first 13 starts, he was given over 7 runs of support. Over the course of his last 10 starts coming into tonight, about half of that, and you can see the record drastically different when the support is up as compared to when it's down. He, of course, given just 1 run here tonight and stands as the pitcher of record.
There's not much he can do about the fact that Buchholz has been dealing against the Jays.
Yeah, he's matched up against good pitchers in the past, and that hasn't bothered him. He's pitching into the 8th inning on average over his last 10 starts. But you're not going to win a lot of games in the American League East when your team only scores you just over 3 runs a game. The magic number is always 5. If you can get 5 runs, there's a good chance that you're going to win.
J.D. Drew grounds it up the middle. Hill with the flip to Scudero. Not in time at first, though, as it bounces to Overbay. And Drew's on with the fielder's choice.
The throw from Aaron Hill kind of was a changeup to Scudero. So Scudero could not get his feet underneath him, and that's just arm strength there that he tried to turn to with, and that's not going to happen with someone like J.D. Drew running.
I like watching Victor Martinez approach the plate. He lays his bat down and takes a measurement and then draws a line.
And that's where he digs in.
That's right up the middle. And look at the positioning of Scudero. He's right behind second base. Perfect placement to pick it up and get the force at second to end the top of the sixth. Lucky contestant will win a 40-inch Sharp Aquos LCD TV with LED backlight. The innovators of LCD TV now bring you their best picture yet. Aquos LED, the evolution of LCD TV continues. To enter, please visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. 5-1 for Boston in the second game of a 3-game set as Clay Buchholz is cruising right now, giving up just a run on 3 hits. Toronto scored in the 4th after Hill led off with a single and scored 3 batters later on Vernon Wells' RBI single. That's it though, as the Blue Jays trailing by 4. No, their ace is out of the ball game. Roy Halladay watching this one from the clubhouse.
Now the offense has to pick him up. Halladay has picked up his team so many times over the years. It's now the offense's turn to pick him up. Little by little, you're going to have to do it.
And back in the 4th, when Hill led off, they made Buchholz throw a bunch of pitches, got a couple of base hits, earned a walk. Got ahead in the count, as you're seeing here from Hill. It's 2-0. That's coming straight back and out of play. Hill sends this to center field, and Ellsbury backtracks to make the catch. One away in the 6th inning for the Blue Jays. Commentator clothing is provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by StatSync. The matchup tomorrow night has Brett Cecil back in the rotation. He's missed a start with a very slight knee strain, and he'll go up against another young left-hander and a good one in John Lester, who's 9-7 on the year. So we'll be on the air again tomorrow night for the first pitch just past 7 Eastern time. Join us for Jays Connected at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific.
No off day for Blue Jay batters in this series.
None at all.
Beckett, Buchholz, and then Lester, who pitched great against the Blue Jays earlier this season here.
Here's Lynn with a base hit to left field. And that's just the 4th all night for the Blue Jays.
Adam Lynn says, if you're going to keep pitching me away, I'm going to start punching that ball. He's just missed a couple of home runs to left field the last couple of nights. Stayed on that one for his first hit. Tough to hit that ball. Stay on top of a high fastball, but Lynn doesn't have any problem with that one.
Lyle Overbay worked a walk against Buchholz in the 4th inning. He's back up there now with a man on. The Red Sox victory last night, coupled with a loss by the Texas Rangers, allowed Boston to pull even in the wild card chase. So there are 2 at the top of the order in that respect. If the Red Sox hope to catch the Yankees, they have their work cut out for them. They're 7 games back in the division as we speak, and I believe I read somewhere today that this late in the season, at no time in their history have the Yankees ever blown a lead of at least 6 games.
They have always won the division when they've had at least a 6-game lead. Here are the wild card standings.
But here is a Boston team that won the World Series in 2004 as a wild card team. So it goes back to the old saying, it doesn't matter how you get there, it's that you get there.
You just have to get in, because anything can happen, especially in that first round. Just get in. With their veteran savvy, their pitching, their deep bullpen, you have to like teams like Boston in playoffs, because so many of their players have been there. They know how to play baseball in October.
Here's the 2-1 pitch high. This is very similar to that 4th inning.
Yeah.
Lots of 3-1 counts.
A lot of slow down. As soon as that first batter got on, Buchholz really slows down. Victor Martinez was signaling to his pitcher, hey, forget about the runner over there. That guy's not important. He's not going to try and steal on you. This is the guy you want right here. Concentrate on the batter.
Overbay swings, lines it right to Green. He goes back to first, but Lynn dives back in time, and there's 2 out.
Nowhere to go when you are down by 4 runs. Any line drive except back to the first baseman, you have got to get back. Lynn recognizes that ball off the bat by Overbay, doesn't stray too far from first base, and gets back. You don't want to get doubled off.
Right-hander Ramon Ramirez starts to throw in the bullpen. Buchholz through 5 2/3 has held Toronto to just 4 hits. And the lone run driven in by the man coming up now, Vernon Wells. You can tell that news and developments inside certain teams gets around the major leagues quickly. One Boston Red Sox came up to me today and said, what's wrong with Wells?
They watch the box scores.
They do.
They watch the shows at nighttime. So what words of wisdom did you tell
Did
him?
I give them?
Yeah. Or was it
me with my T-ball career growing up in Oakville? Well, I'll float a theory by you. Piece of wisdom I got from Greg Zahn of all people, as it's grounded to third and it sneaks past Youkilis into left field. So Wells has another base hit, 2 for 3.
When he's had rough times, he's always come out of it, and he's come out of it on fire. There were times this year where it looked like he was going to pull out of it in a big way.
Greg Zahn told me that he thinks Vernon Wells is such a gifted athlete that perhaps he relies a little too much on athleticism when he's at the plate and not on baseball smarts.
Well, there's no question that he's a great athlete.
The thought that perhaps I can go up there and hit pretty well anything. Whereas in contrast, look at a guy having a very good year in Adam Lind, who goes up there and has a very definite plan as to what he's looking for, which is not to suggest that Vernon Wells doesn't have a plan.
No, I think Vernon Wells is a smart baseball guy. I've watched him in between innings, talk to the players as they're out on the field, and I can tell that they're talking about pitch sequence and they're talking about location. He's a smart baseball guy. Adjustments have to be made all the time in this game. You know, Bill Buckner told me one time, you don't make adjustments from year to year. You could make them from pitcher to pitcher, week to week, pitcher to pitcher, pitch to pitch. You have to make adjustments.
Well, Wells is there at first, Lind up at second. Here's Randy Ruiz, 0 for 2. He grounds to third, and there is the shortstop Gonzalez, who doesn't bother throwing the ball. Ruiz on with an infield single, and the bases are loaded.
Plays absolutely perfect by Ruiz. You don't go up there and say, okay, I'm going to try and hit the ball between the third baseman and the shortstop, but it just ends up that way. No chance to get any runners at any of the bases. Reaches out, doesn't hit it hard, but hits it in a perfect spot. No chance to get the runner at second. Ruiz is thinking base hit right here. You can slow down. Gonzalez is not going to make a move.
Here's Encarnacion in a very interesting situation as the ball bounces in front of Martinez. For the most part, the Blue Jays tonight have not been able to touch Clay Buchholz, but here they are in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the tying run is at the plate. Down 5-1, though Encarnacion hasn't hit much since coming over from Cincinnati.
He needs a big one right here. This is a great spot for him. He does have 3 career grand slams.
On the 1-0 pitch, now 2-0. The Jays with only 1 grand slam this year. And this one will stay in the ballpark. Ellsbury records the 3rd out. The bases remain loaded as the 6th comes to an end, and Boston maintains their 5-1 lead. You want frustration?
.com for your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to see the Jays in comfort. TD Canada Trust, putting you in the comfort zone.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
What a brilliant night for baseball, and what a great view if you're in the observation deck of the CN Tower, looking down on an open Rogers Center. Bright lights, decent crowd, and a ball game being played, led by the Boston Red Sox 5-1. I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino as Josh Renicky goes to work on Kevin Youkilis to lead off the 7th inning. Youkilis has struck out, he's singled, he's reached on an error. Taps this one in front of the plate. Barajas calls off Renicky and makes the out at first. Once again, let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, guys, a little change in the bat boy scenario for the Toronto Blue Jays. The one that looks like Ricky Romero is indeed his brother Gabe. Ricky flew him up to enjoy some time off while he's out of school. The other, Cody Malloy, son of Jays equipment manager Kevin Malloy. As for Gabe Romero, he felt awfully bad last night. He made his debut with his brother on the mound. The two walked home after the game after a mediocre at best result for Romero, and felt that he was partially responsible, but was reassured by his older brother that it wasn't his fault.
Well, you know, in fact, we saw Gabe in Oakland when they played the 3-game series out there, and he was on the bench in uniform when Romero went 7 innings against the A's, picked up his 10th win. So he's not all bad luck. As Gary Renicky's son, Josh, faces David Ortiz. There's Gabriel.
So he's 1-1.
He's 1-1.
1-1 with his brother. '69 RBIs for David Ortiz, and he's hitting .225. What would he be driving in if he was up more of his career numbers?
He'd be pushing 100 right about now. You would have to think. I mean, he went forever without a home run as he hits into the shifted defense and grounds out to Aaron Hill.
Only Carlos Pena has that many RBIs and a lower batting average than David Ortiz. 69 driven in, a .225 average for Ortiz. Carlos Pena's heading into yesterday's game 77 RBIs with an average of .212. It's a lot of missed opportunities.
This man has not missed most of the time this year. And there is Jason Bay swinging and missing.
Now 7 home runs in his last 11 games. Time to try something different.
Fly ball into short right field. Hill goes out, makes the catch. And Josh Renicky gets a 1-2-3 7th here at Rogers Center. who was searching for his 14th win. He will not get it as we head for the bottom of the 7th with Boston on top 5-1.
Just 5 innings for Roy Halladay tonight. He did have 7 strikeouts, his shortest outing of the season when he wasn't injured. His shortest outing was 3 innings against Florida. David Ortiz with his 6th career home run off of Roy Halladay. Clay Buchholz has been sensational. 6 innings, just 1 run. He will now give way to Ramon Ramirez, who comes out of the Boston bullpen to finish it up here. 6-3 with a 225 earned run average. He throws a fastball about 92-95 miles an hour with heavy late life. He can get away with mistakes in the middle of the plate because that fastball has so much late life. He's got a very good arm. Another one of those hard-throwing right-handers that Terry Francona can rely on coming out of his bullpen.
When teams like the Yankees were going out in the offseason and signing those high-priced free agents like CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett, the Red Sox quietly traded a player they really had no use for anymore in Coco Crisp and got Ramon Ramirez. And he impressed Red Sox Nation right from the start, shutting down opponents in 15 innings over his first 13 appearances. He gets a foul ball here from Rod Barajas, 1-1 on the number 8 hitter.
He has that plus fastball and a plus slider and a pitch that's like a splitter, like a change up, and it goes straight down. So his numbers are excellent. He has held opponents scoreless 18 times. The last 23 times he has taken them out.
Ramirez now with a 2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss.
Jonathan Papelbon had all kind of trouble last night for Boston. I believe he was up over 40 pitches. Do not think that he is available for tonight's game. And Terry Francona was talking after the game last night that if Papelbon lost the hitter, the last hitter of the ball game, Ramirez or Saito was going to be in to try and close it out. Papelbon looks like he's going to be resting here tonight.
He hung in there for his 29th save. A 10-9 victory in the opener. Here it's 5-1, and this is Ramirez getting Barajas to chase. One away in the Jays half of the 7th. We'd like to remind you that this Friday when the Blue Jays play the Angels, if Toronto turns a triple play, one lucky fan in attendance wins $1 million in the Erickson Triple Play Challenge, and Erickson will turn around and donate another $1 million to the Blue Jays Care Foundation. So grab your tickets to the ball game and join us for the Angels and Blue Jays. Who knows, you might just walk home with $1 million. As Travis Snider steps in for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. There's the only left-hander in the bullpen, Hideki Okajima, watching Ramirez do his work. There's a grounder to first. Kochman has it. He outraces Snider, and Snider is 0 for 3.
Good fielder. And Casey Kochman, a nice piece to have on your bench. If he's not starting, he can come in as a defensive replacement if you need to make some moves. A left-hander on your bench, he can get a good start against a tough pitcher like Halladay. It's a good pickup.
Marcos Scutaro comes back to the plate, and he's 0 for 3.
Ramirez worked quickly. No messing around when he is on the mound. He stays right on that pitching rubber. Good tempo.
As good as Buchholz was tonight, Pat, it looked as if when he slowed things down, when he got men on base, that's when he started to get into trouble.
Maybe his mind got in the way.
Yeah.
Martinez did a good job of helping him through those tough times when guys got on base. And I like what Josh Beckett said after the game last night. It wasn't Victor Martinez's problem that I got beat around. He caught the last 2 Cy Young Award winners, so he knows a little something about catching.
There's a 2-out walk to Marco Scudero, and I think, you know, some of the people covering the Red Sox started to talk about the impact of the catcher last night, because the last bad outing that Josh Beckett had this season in Philadelphia, his catcher was George Gutierrez, and Gutierrez was catching him for the first time. And the thought was, well, if it's anybody but Jason Varitek,
he can't pitch. Are you kidding me? Come on.
He's won 14 games this year.
Yeah, there's always something, an angle that people are going to look at, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. You know who the catcher is. Still have to make pitches.
Fouled back by Aaron Hill. Hill is 1 for 3. And of course, if you've been around a team as long as, for example, Roy Halladay has been, you better get used to having different catchers back there.
How many catchers has Doc worked with over the years?
I think pretty well every one of them was at the at Tropicana Field on the weekend. Todd Green was there. Darren Fletcher was there. Pat Borders showed up, but Borders was long gone by the time Halladay got to Toronto.
Greg Zahn.
Greg Zahn was there.
And of course, Rod Barajas. He's
done a fine job. There's the 1-1. Fouled back and out of play. Scudero up at first with 2 out as Ramon Ramirez works in relief of Clay Buchholz. And he faces Aaron Hill, the ball and 2 strikes. Martinez way up there, and the pitch comes back across the plate and catches Hill by surprise. He's down looking. That's not where Martinez wanted the pitch, but it's good enough to get the strikeout.
Gave a good view right there for the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher. Martinez sets up way on the outside part of the plate. It comes over the middle. Hill thinks it's up. But the guy that matters doesn't think so. Aaron Hill with a high throw, but it looks like Lyle Overbay comes down to get Kevin Youkilis, so he should be out. Clearly on that play, he's out. Well, the Blue Jays have a second chance at getting Youkilis. He's on first base. He takes off. The throw is a little short, and Encarnacion cannot handle it. He is safe, a stolen base, and then Jason Bay first pitch swinging. Instead of a solo home run, it's a 2-run home run.
So visit BlueJays.com to register for a chance to win prizes with the Burger King Superfan Contest.
Yuko will take that stolen base.
He will.
All the time. Stolen base and a run scored. Blue Jays had 2 chances at getting him off the bases. The umpire didn't help the first time.
Here's the left-handed hitting Casey Kochman, who's been sawed off twice in the game. This is his 3rd game bat in this ball game. He's got the hockey tape job on the handle too as he faces Josh Renicky. He looks in on 2-0. Here comes Renicky with the pitch. And this is drilled to center field, but played nicely by Vernon Wells. We talk about, you know, the depth charts and the positioning for outfielders based batter to batter. It looks like it might have paid off there for Wells.
Yeah, it certainly did. Fastball away, and he got a great jump on it. He is moving. Look at that. 2-3 steps, and he is right there to catch it about chest high. Josh Renicky working on his 3rd inning here tonight. His longest outing in his career was right here in this building.
Earlier this year
against Toronto
with the Cincinnati
Reds. He is now tied at 2 1/3 innings.
Gets a swing and a miss from Nick Green. Green is 0 for 3. And Renicky needed an outing like this one because he hasn't been able to really show himself to the Blue Jays in 4 previous outings. He's given up a bunch of hits, walked 5. But in this outing, now 2 1/3, he's walked only 1 and hasn't had any problem, hasn't given up a hit.
When you come to a new team, you want to make your mark. You want to feel like you can fit in and do the job. Show them why they traded for you. We're seeing right now why the Blue Jays wanted Renicky in on that trade. He's got a good arm. He threw an easy 93 right by Green earlier in this count. I saw him in Cincinnati. Got a chance to watch him. Very impressed with his arm.
Fly ball to right. And that is Snyder. Well, he's a natural athlete, Josh Renicky. He was a quarterback at UCLA. Didn't play very much, if at all, and then decided to switch to receiver. And he didn't get much playing time as a receiver either. And I guess at a football program like UCLA's, you better be pretty good if you expect to play.
Yeah, you better be an All-American, right? Yeah. Or All-City, All-State, whatever.
So he concentrated on baseball, and here he is in the big leagues pitching for the Blue Jays. This is skied to center field, an easy play for Vernon Wells, and once again Renicky with a 1-2-3 8th inning. computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience features 100 out-of-market games per week. For details, please visit BlueJays.com, where baseball is always on. And there you see the left-hander coming out of the bullpen, Hideki Okajima, who arrived in Boston about the same time as Daisuke Matsuzaka, with far less fanfare. And some people might tell you that he's been more valuable to the Red Sox than Daisuke has.
Made an all-star team.
Yes, he did.
His first year. Pitched in last night's game, had an easy 1-2-3 inning in the 7th inning, and that was the bonus inning for him because the Red Sox would score 3 runs in the 8th inning. He ended up winning the game last night to move his record to 4-0.
In to face a couple of left-handers in Adam Lind and then Lyle Overbay. Lind tonight is 1 for 3 as he steps in against Okajima. Here's the 0-1 pitch. A wave and a miss. 0-2.
He has become a very valuable pitcher for Terry Francona in the holds department. He might not get all the glory like a Jonathan Papelbon with all his saves and his great stuff, but Okajima is very valuable, coming in, getting left-handers out late in the ballgame. Second in the American League with 22 holds. When you make good pitches like this against lefties, down and away breaking ball, picks up the strikeout.
1 down for Lyle Overbay now, 0 for 2.
He's done it for a few years now. Also picked up the holds. He and Mike Timlin are the only Red Sox to have 3 separate seasons of at least 20 holds.
Did I see Timlin tried to make a comeback
Yes.
recently with
Colorado.
And it didn't last very long.
Yeah. Went to AAA. Found out it wasn't there anymore. Shut it down.
Good career.
Great career. A few all-star rings and World Series rings.
There's a bouncer to Okajima. From the rubber, he throws out Overbay for the 2nd out. So now 2 down in the 8th inning. And here's Wells again. We were talking about changing the approach and having a plan when we saw Vernon come up in the 6th inning, and it reminded me of a situation last year in Detroit. He hit a grand slam in August of last year against Kenny Rogers, and Wells, who takes the first pitch there for ball 1, said he was sitting on a fastball and he saw a changeup out of Kenny Rogers' hand, made the adjustment, and drove in 4 with 1 swing.
You can make an adjustment when you're sitting on a fastball and they throw you a breaking ball because you can see it. The other way around, you can't do that. You can't look, for the most part, I'll put it that way. For the most part, you can't sit on a breaking ball and turn around a 95-mile-an-hour hitter. It's just too tough to do. But that's the kind of adjustment you need to do to become a good hitter. You know you're going to get a changeup from Kenny Rogers. So his fastball, he can't throw it by you, so you can look fastball and adjust to the change. He's shown him a couple fastballs inside now, right under the armpits on the inside corner. Bet you he goes soft away here.
That's where the catcher sets up, and it's on the ground up the middle, smothered by the second baseman Green, and he gets a Speedy Wells at the bag. A nice play by Nick Green, and it ensures a 1-2-3 inning for Hideki Okajima. The pitcher certainly appreciates this kind of defense. After 8 innings of play here in Toronto, it's the Red Sox 5 and the Blue Jays 1. The stolen base crown in the American League this year will be won by one of 2 men, either Jacoby Ellsbury or Carl Crawford. Ellsbury, as it stands right now, with 53 stolen bases, one shy of tying the all-time single-season record held by Tommy Harper and established back in 1973. He's been on base 4 times in the series, hasn't stolen a base yet, but the next one will tie a long-standing record.
Hasn't attempted one of the first 2 games here. Haven't really needed it. Tommy Harper was talking the other day about that. He said, you know, that happens. Guys come and break records, and he was talking about stolen bases, and they seem to come in bunches like home runs. You don't come to the ballpark saying, you know what, I think I'm going to get 2 stolen bases today. They just happen within the flow of the game. It's happened in this series where Ellsbury's been on base a lot, but he just hasn't had the opportunity or the need to steal a base.
Any good record, or at least any good record holder, knows that good players are always coming down the pipe, and surely Harper will be happy to see someone like Ellsbury, a good citizen, establish a new record in Boston as he hits a fly ball to center field. And there's one away.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
You know, Pat, the last time I remember a record holder not wanting his record broken was Brian Kingman, that pitcher for the Oakland A's who lost 20 games in 1980. As Brandon League delivers a strike to J.D. Drew.
He didn't want Mike Maroth?
He didn't Mike Maroth in, I think, 2003 with the Detroit Tigers, lost, I believe, 21 or 22 games.
Yeah.
He didn't want the record broken.
He wanted to be the man, right?
He did. Because he was doing card shows and that kind of thing. He was the last guy to lose 20.
Hey, if you're going to be known for something, right?
Well, he's not exactly in the Hall of Fame, right? So if they're inviting you to conventions because you lost 20 games, you got to take advantage of that kind of thing.
So now is Mike Maroth going to shows? Didn't you see him in
spring training with the Blue Jays? He was vying for a rotation spot in March. Here's Brandon League facing J.D. Drew 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out in the 9th inning. Drew always seems to have a good year just before he becomes a free agent. Back in 04, 31 home runs, 93 RBIs with the Braves before signing a big deal with the Dodgers. And then in 06, while with the Dodgers, he drove in 100 runs, opted out of his deal, and then signed a big contract with Boston. In fact, I looked at his statistics before the game. Those are the only 2 really good seasons he's had in the big leagues.
Really big
offensive numbers.
Yeah.
So his timing is impeccable.
That, and he's got a good agent. Scott Boras, he's battled a lot of injuries. Right now, he's got a little bit of a sore groin. There was talk that he wasn't going to play much in this series, but Boston has been working with a short bench, so he's had to play.
He goes down on strikes. Yes, he does.
He's got talent. But he can't catch up to this fastball from Brandon Lee. He throws it right by him. A little tardy.
Here's Martinez again. And he is 1 for 3. If you've just joined us, it was a short night for Roy Halladay. Not the kind of thing you see very often, but Halladay only went 5 tonight and gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Here's Martinez, high fly ball, left field, back to the wall goes Lind, and that one is gone. A home run and a solo shot make it 6-1 Boston. And give the Red Sox their 3rd home run this evening.
Victor Martinez can flat out hit, and he is going to love hitting in this lineup in Fenway Park. He's going to put up big numbers, I think, with the Boston Red Sox. When you are able to take a pitch like this from Brandon Lee hard and drive it the other way, plenty of distance, and I think he knew it from that follow through. That makes it 6-1.
And here's Youkilis grounding the first one foul. Home runs tonight from David Ortiz, Jason Bay, and now Victor Martinez. The 2 teams combined in the first 2 games have hit 8 of them.
Oh.
And that runs in on Youkilis. We've seen this movie before.
You get excited when you see this. He's taken a beating this year, getting hit in the ribs. He was talking about it the other day. He says, you know, you lay in bed at night and you breathe and it hurts because you get hit in the ribs. I don't think Brandon Lee was trying to hit him here in the 9th inning, being down 6-1, but it still hurts. Fastball. And it looked like he got his elbow up in time to block it with that pad.
Both managers, let's listen here. Boy, Francona's lucky he didn't get a run there.
Well, he's sticking up for his player.
Now let's take you back last week, and remember, Youkilis is just back from a 5-game suspension because of this, after he got hit by Rick Porcello.
Yeah, he had enough. He's been hit numerous times this year in the ribs and the back area.
And how about that takedown by Porcello? The kid put the move on Youkilis, who's standing over there at first. So things get a little heated here in the 9th inning, with the Red Sox now up by 5.
Yeah, I think what Terry Francona was so upset about, there was warnings to both teams. Now, if he sends his pitcher out there and they try to retaliate, he's gone and the pitcher's gone. And you're on the defensive then. Guy hits a home run, next guy gets hit. Again, I don't think he was hitting him, but the Red Sox can't do anything about it or they're going to lose their manager and their pitcher. I think what he was arguing was saying, hey, you know, don't be warning us. We didn't do anything.
There's a bouncer. And look at Encarnacion has to come a long way. It's dug out by Overbay. Back to third. Youkilis in a rundown. And there's Scudero, but he can't get the tag down because Youkilis avoids it going back to second. That's the way it's gone for the Blue Jays all night long.
Little plays like that where they can't finish off innings. Excuse me, swing by Ortiz is going to end up as an infield single. Youkilis is thinking because Encarnacion is way off the bag, can go first to third. And the Blue Jays can't finish off the rundown. This shouldn't happen. Overbay with a strong throw across the infield, and now right here, a little bit too late getting it to Scudero. And a high throw, and he's off the bag. Youkilis safe.
And it seems as Jason Bay swings and misses at the first one, Youkilis has been front and center for all these little opportunities presented to the Blue Jays. He grounded one to Hill in the fifth inning. Hill overthrew first, but Overbay, as our replay showed, clearly got a tag down. However, the call from Greg Gibson went in favor of Youkilis. He was safe. He ended up stealing a base, in part because Encarnacion just couldn't catch the ball at second.
Overslid the base.
Yeah. And then what do you know? He comes home because Jason Bay steps up two batters later and knocks one out. So here's Bay again. And the 1-1 off the plate, 2 balls and a strike. So the inning is extended after Youkilis is hit in the back, and then Ortiz comes up with his base hit. Now Bay's got a chance here to really make this messy. League with the 2-1 pitch, and it's right between the legs of Barajas. 2-2. There you go. League strikes out Bay. He goes down swinging for the 3rd time tonight. Martinez makes it a 5-run lead with his solo shot to left field. Bottom of the 9th coming up next on Rogers Sportsnet. fact, with Cito Gaston between innings here as they continue to talk about the batter that was hit by Brandon Lee, Kevin Youkilis, just after the home run to Victor Martinez. And we'd like to remind you that coming up next, Sportsnet Connected with Sean McCormick and Martine Geyer. (6-1) Boston in a game that has never really been in question after the Red Sox scored twice in the second. They were able to get to Roy Halladay for 5 runs, 4 earned in 5 innings of work. Takashi Saito is now the new reliever.
Saito here to mop it up, 6-1. He has had in his career seasons when he closed games for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He sprained his right elbow last July and really didn't recover. Dodgers let him go. Boston picked him up as a free agent. And he's a valuable arm in the back of that bullpen. Before the inning started, the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, went out to talk to Saito. And I think he was just reminding him that warnings have been issued to both teams about throwing inside, retaliation. That's crew chief Tim McClellan, the umpire, talking with Kevin Youkilis.
Here's the first pitch to Ruiz, strike 1. So it's understandable why Terry Francona would come out, as you pointed out. You know, he's wondering, hey, wait a minute, it's not our pitcher that hit the batter, but it'll be interesting to find out if Cito, of course, wants to talk about it as to what he's been discussing with Andy Fletcher. Unless he's just out there to back up his player and say, hey, look, there was no intent there. That's just a pitch that got away.
And umpires have to use judgment on that. 6-1 game. I don't think he's going to try and hit him. It still doesn't make it feel good. That was a hard fastball right on his elbow.
Here's the 1-2 to Ruiz. He holds up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ruiz, with his infield single in the 6th inning, has now hit safely in all 7 games he's played with the Blue Jays since coming up from AAA Las Vegas.
Saito saved 39 games for the Dodgers in 2007. 81 major league saves coming into this year.
Deals the pitch and gets a swing and a miss. There goes Ruiz with the first out of the 9th.
He's got that nice, easy, fluid windup. He kind of pauses in the middle, throws junk, breaking ball, and then paints a fastball in the outside corner.
Well, the best chance the Blue Jays had tonight to get to Clay Buchholz came with Edwin Encarnacion up in the 6th inning. Bases loaded, 2 out. He got the count to 3-1. Sat on a fastball, got that fastball, but hit a high fly ball to center field to end the inning. Buchholz got out of it, giving up just the 1 run over 6 innings, and stands to win his 2nd game this year in the big leagues. It would be his 2nd game, 2nd victory against the Blue Jays.
He has pitched well enough in his last 3 to win all 3. Red Sox have got him some runs here tonight, 6 of them.
Run support for Roy Halladay in the previous 2 games wasn't an issue. The Blue Jays were able to score a combined 12 runs in victories over Baltimore and Tampa Bay, but tonight just a single run against Clay Buchholz. And now Saito, the 3rd reliever, gets a high fly ball into left. Here comes Bay, and it's a little too far. But Ramirez came in and had no trouble in the 7th. Okajima with a 1-2-3-8, and here's Saito to try and finish things off. You've come a long way then. A very long way.
Come a long way. Want to see a W.
Well, they're going to have to come back from 5 down with 1 out in the 9th inning. Maybe they just exhausted themselves trying to come back and come back and come back all of last night.
Yeah. Got a feeling like the same thing was going to happen tonight. 4th inning, down 3-0. They got 1 back. Did the Blue Jays in the 4th on a hit by Vernon Wells. You can feel like the momentum was changing just a little bit. Halladay, get into your groove like you do. But then in the 5th inning, Jason Bay, that's when all those crazy things were happening that we were showing you, our plays of the day. Euclid should have been out and then eventually scored on the home run by Jason Bay.
Saito blows it past Encarnacion, and that's the 2nd out.
Again, good placement with a fastball on the outside part of the plate. It's low 90s. Ball was tipped by Encarnacion, but Saito has his 2nd strikeout. When he was saving all those games for the Los Angeles Dodgers, he had a season in 2006, 78 innings pitched, had 107 strikeouts.
You can see why.
Yeah. Next inning when he saved 39, 64 innings pitched, 78 strikeouts. So over a strikeout an inning for a closer. That's excellent.
Strike 1 on Rod Barajas. The Blue Jays with just 6 hits tonight. And not an extra base hit to be had. All 6 have been singles.
Their last hit was the infield single by Ruiz back in the 6th inning. That loaded them up. Relievers have retired all but 1 batter since the 2 outs in the 6th inning. That was a walk to Marco Scutaro.
Here's Saito. He's got an 0-2. And that's it. Ball game is over. Barajas strikes out. Saito strikes out the side here in the 9th inning and preserves the 2nd win of this major league season for Clay Buchholz. The Red Sox have taken the first 2. For Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and Scott Carson, I'm Jamie Campbell. Thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night. Here is Sportsnet Connected.